Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me first tell you that no one will believe the characters in the story to be true. The characters are given to explain the story. The land of Arabia. The Islamic civilization emerging in the middle of a vast desert. Mecca and Medina were not just geographical cities at that time, they were the battlegrounds of truth and falsehood, examples of the difference between the splendor of this world and the light of the hereafter. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was born in the house of Bibi Fatema, may Allah be pleased with her. She was a simple, soft-hearted, selfless and a noble woman who sacrificed her life for the hereafter. But not all people in the world are the same. Some are humble, while others are arrogant. In the Arab society of that time, the girls of rich families were self-absorbed by their beauty, appearance, clothing, and the glory of the palace. Among them was a princess, who became extremely arrogant due to her wealth and beauty. The name of the princess is not clearly written in history. However, she was the daughter of a rich Arab chieftain. She grew up in the comfort of the palace from childhood. Her movements were full of arrogance. Wherever she went, maids surrounded her. Henna-colored hands, gold bracelets, silver earrings, expensive silk clothes, she could not even imagine life without these. Every morning, when the desert sun rose with a red glow, maids would come and wake her up. Water was brought in golden vessels, and her hands and face were washed with perfume. The princess never did any work with her own hands. It seemed to her that work was for the lower class, she was born only for enjoyment. The princess's greatest pride was her clothes and ornaments. She believed that there was no one as beautiful as her in the world. When she went to the market, she would look at the poor people with contempt. If a poor child looked at her, she would get annoyed and say, "Why are you looking at me? You are as dirty as dirt, and I am as beautiful as silk." There was a feast every day in the princess's house. The rich were invited, the poor only watched from a distance. If a poor person wanted to come closer, the maids would push him away. The princess believed that the pleasures of the world were her birthright. The greatest form of her pride was seen in her words. When a noble woman or a respected person came before her, she would sarcastically say, "Why is your life so simple? Why do you have to struggle so much? If you have money and wealth, life is joy." One day, the princess heard that the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Bibi Fatema, lived a very simple life. She had scars on her hands, a look of hard work on her face, and there was not much furniture in her house. Yet she was the daughter of the great Prophet. The princess was surprised. She thought, "The daughter of the Prophet is so poor? Why doesn't she adorn herself with ornaments like me? Why doesn't she have servants and cattle in her house? Or does she not know the pleasures and comforts of this world?" Thinking of this, her pride grew even more. She decided that one day she would directly go and mock Fatima. She believed that she would be able to shame Fatima and show her that real dignity lies in wealth, in a palace, and in a royal life. One day, a discussion was taking place in her court. Many rich merchants, landowners, and noble men and women were sitting there. In the midst of the conversation, the princess proudly said, "The beauty and dignity of all the women in the world are under my feet. I was born into a dynasty, with gold and diamonds in my hands, and slaves in my house. And I have heard that Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, kneaded flour with her own hands and carried water. Alas! If a daughter of a dynasty had lived such a life, she would have died of shame. It is truly astonishing." Everyone laughed at his words. Some supported him. However, some wise people remained silent. Because they knew that Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, did not live for this world, but for the hereafter. A small house in a corner of Medina. Mud walls, a palm tree roof, and only a simple mat on the floor. That was the house of Bibi Fatema, may Allah be pleased with her, the daughter of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. There was no royal furniture around, no silk curtains or golden seats. Yet there was an invisible light in that house, the light of faith, the beauty of patience, and the glory of sacrifice. She would wake up before dawn. First, she would take the name of Allah, perform ablution, and stand for prayer. After the prayer, she would pray for her husband, children, and the Ummah. Then her hard work day would begin. She would knead flour with her own hands, sometimes her fingers would swell from turning the wheel in her hand. She would go far to fetch water, leaving marks on her shoulders. She would wash clothes, look after her children, and entertain guests. Her husband Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, was busy with war and preaching Islam. Therefore, Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, carried out many of the responsibilities of the family alone. Yet, she never complained. Fatima's clothes were made of cotton, sometimes patched, sometimes torn. One day, when she went to an event, she cried out of shame because her cloak was patched repeatedly. But the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, comforted her and said, "O my daughter, this world is temporary. Whoever is patient for the hereafter, Allah will grant him an eternal status." These words brought deep peace to Fatima's heart. Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, would never turn her back on the poor. Even if she had nothing, she would donate at least a date or a handful of flour. Once, when a poor woman came to her and asked for food, she opened her veil, because there was no food in the house. She said, "There is no harm in giving in the way of Allah, rather Allah returns it many times over." While the princess sat in the palace and boasted of her ornaments, Fatima sat on a simple mat. Where the princess adorned herself with fragrant oils, Fatima would get drenched in the sweat of her labor. Where the princess had maids to work, Fatima did every task with her own hands. Yet there was a huge difference between these two lives. The princess's eyes were happy for a while, but her heart was troubled, and Fatima's eyes were tired, but her heart was filled with peace and light. The daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, lives a very ordinary life. Yet she is the daughter of the Prophet, the wife of Ali, the leader of the companions. Yet she has no palace, no maidservant, no luxury, so how can she be called a symbol of dignity? These words aroused curiosity in his mind. However, curiosity was mixed with irony. "I will come and see her. Let me see how noble the daughter of the Prophet is." The princess went out with her maidservant. She was dressed royally, pearls on her neck, gold bracelets on her hands, and expensive perfume on her body. When she came to Fatima's door, the sun was shining brightly. On the other side of the door was the simple face of Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her. She was wearing a simple dress, her hair tied in a bun, and flour stains on her hands. The princess looked at her in surprise. "You, the daughter of the Prophet?" The princess's eyes were filled with mockery. "Yes, I am Fatima," she replied in a calm voice. The princess looked around and said, "There is no decoration in your house. No maidservant. No expensive furniture. Yet you are the daughter of the most respected family in Arabia." Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, smiled softly. Her eyes were filled with peace. "I do not need the decorations of this world. I pray to Allah that He may give us a house in the hereafter whose beauty will be incomparable." The princess said contemptuously, "But people seek honor in the decorations of this world. Palaces, maidservants, clothes, how can one be a princess without these?" Fatima said in a calm voice, "Becoming a princess is not about worldly honor, but about the dignity of the hereafter. The angels respect only those who are servants of Allah. And those who are immersed in worldly pride will not get anything in the hereafter." The princess stopped. A small crack appeared in her pride. Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, gave her a glass of water. The princess drank the water, but her heart was not satisfied. She thought, "The food I eat is a luxurious feast. Yet this little water quenched my thirst. What a strange peace there is in this simple life." She sat quietly. Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, had a shade of peace on her face, the light of remembrance of Allah in her eyes. She had no maidservant, no palace, yet it seemed that she had a power within her that the princess did not have. The princess's heart gradually softened. She said, "You have no maidservant, no gold, no jewels, yet where did this peace in your heart come from?" Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, replied in a deep voice, "This peace comes from the pleasure of Allah. Whatever we do only for the sake of Allah. When He is pleased, a peace descends on the heart that no gold or jewel can give." The princess did not say anything else. Her eyes became wet. For the first time, she understood, real honor is not in the palace, but in the pleasure of Allah. While saying goodbye, he held Fatima's hand and said, "O daughter of the Prophet, today I have understood, my palace, ornaments, and servants cannot give real happiness. You have shown me something that is not found in any royal banquet." Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, only said, "O sister, the kingship of the hereafter is better than anything in this world. Return to Allah, He is the true king." Even though the princess returned to the palace that day, her heart was not the same as before. He thought to himself, "I have received everything, yet I have received nothing. Fatima has kept nothing, yet I have received everything." Then the princess forgot all the inertia of the palace. She was no longer the arrogant girl who boasted of her golden cassock, her servants, and her beautiful clothes. Her eyes now reflected only light, her heart filled with kindness to humanity, and her desire to please Allah. Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, looked at the princess and said, "Look, my daughter, true beauty is not revealed in external adornments, but in the light of the heart. If you want, this light will be with you forever. But remember, daily good deeds, patience, kindness, and remembrance of Allah are what sustain this light." The princess cried and said, "Yes, I understand. All worldly wealth, pride, and arrogance, these will end one day. True life means achieving the pleasure of Allah." Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, held her hand and said, "This is how hearts change. The joy of following the path of Allah is eternal. Now you can share this light with others." From the next day, the princess started working for the poor and helpless people of the village. She opened the large rooms of her palace to orphans and poor children. People saw that the arrogant princess was dedicating herself to serving others today. The people of the village said, "This girl is the symbol of true beauty. Not only external beauty, but also inner beauty can be seen here." Thus, the princess's arrogance was destroyed. Her life became an example that a person achieves true dignity not only in wealth, but also in the enlightened life of the soul. Bibi Fatema, may Allah be pleased with her, saw her, felt peace, and knew that following the path of Allah fills the life of a person with eternal light. The main lesson of the story. 1. Destroys pride. The pride of the princess shows that external beauty, wealth, or social status are never permanent. Pride covers the light of a person's heart and creates obstacles in the way of true happiness. The example of the princess shows that any person can come out of their mistakes, pride, or ignorance and adopt an honest and enlightened life. If you like the video, then do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. Be sure to turn on the bell icon to get the next video first. Thank you for watching the video completely.